Hey guys, hope you had a good weekend. Mine was pretty busy. I was writing a lot about some new positions that I'm entering or monitoring. So in this video today, I'm going to talk about a new position that I'm just entering. I'm talking about my investment thesis in the stock and also my due diligence that I've done so far and how I'm going to trade this stock. But first off, the research that I'm doing in those stocks is quite time consuming, and so I would appreciate a quick like if you find some value in those videos. Already on the weekend I actually made a post on my Patreon here, so with a large description about why I entered the stock and my due diligence and so on. And so if you want to see those kind of posts early, then make sure to become a Patreon member starting from $1 a month. And then for those of you who are subscribed to the $10 a month tier, you will get an invite to this exclusive networking opportunity where it's also possible for you guys to come up with your own topics and post your questions, talk about stocks. But in addition to that, you also get more frequent updates from my side, also with trading information. So already on Friday, I gave heads up in this group that I entered this new company that I'm talking about in this video today. So if you want to get this latest signaling of trades that I'm doing and the call options and so on, and also if you want to talk about the topics of those companies, or if you want to join some of those topics and companies that I'm talking about, then you can just think about becoming a patron with the eligible tier. Now let's talk about the company that I'm opening a position, and that's Xunlei, which is ticker symbol Xnet. And you may have come across the fact that I was talking a lot about Bitcoin recently. So this was my first video back in October, I think, when I talked about that I think that Bitcoin is actually a 10x opportunity, and then talking about some price movements recently and also about Elon Musk and Tesla's adding of Bitcoin to their balance sheet. So in general, I'm getting more and more bullish about the prospects of Bitcoin, but I'm obviously also interested in investing in companies related to that. When I started my positions in Bitcoin, I also talked about MicroStrategies with the CEO, Michael Saylor, who put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, and well, I enjoyed a quite nice run up in this stock. However, I've now reduced my position because I'm putting most of it actually into actual Bitcoin instead. But I'm still on the lookout to companies that are actually building the decentralized net. So for instance, decentralized social networks, decentralized finance, so DeFi, and other applications that are built on the blockchain. And on top of that, you may also know that last year I entered a position in a company called CloudFlare, ticker symbol NET. And recently they had the earnings report and quite a bit of a sell-off. But I already mentioned to my patrons that I'm not really worried about this little bit of a sell-off there. And instead, I'm just keeping my long position there because I think this is a multi-bagger. My investment thesis is still that Cloudflare is actually well positioned and has a unique standard when it comes to bridging the West and the East with their cloud technology. Now, the company Xunlei is actually something that has the connotations of blockchain technology, but also cloud services. You can go to the Wikipedia page, which is actually doing a really good job at summarizing what Xunlei is all about, and actually also about their services, for instance, all of the products that they're offering in terms of cloud, CDN, and also blockchain technology. And as this is not investment advice at this channel, you should always do your own due diligence, and thereby it's better if you go and do this reading on your own, because ultimately you should always know what you're getting invested in. But despite your own due diligence that you need to put in, what I can give you here in this video is my views, my investment thesis, and what I have researched so far. So here we go. Well, the stock has actually been trending up to almost $26 during the recent 2017 Bitcoin hype, or when also the blockchain technology was quite hyped up, and then it was recently trading quite low, so only about $2 a share, and now it's already making some progress here, and pre-market it looks like we are breaking through the $8 a share barrier. And why I like this company as a new blockchain and cloud technology play here is that its market cap is only around $500 million. But if you look at their financial statements, you see that they make roughly $44 million quarterly. So that should be roughly 180 million annual revenues this year. So this tells me that they are trading at a quite low price to sales ratio of only around 2.7 as a multiple. And if we compare that to companies like Fastly or CloudFlare Net, then that is comparably cheap. So for instance, CloudFlare trades at 25x price to sales and Fastly at 18x. So that's an easy, quick way of valuating this company, and tells me that this company, despite the recent run up here, is still valued quite low. And of course, there's a reason for the low valuation. So possibly the hype after 2017 when blockchain and Bitcoin collapsed was out of the stock, and also the net income has expanded even faster, and revenues, as we can see here, were not growing anymore. In fact, they were declining. But I also checked their cash position, and they have more than 246 million cash and equivalents at hand, and a couple of liabilities. But then if you actually subtract this from the company value right now, then 26% of the current market cap is actually just the cash in the company. So once again, this is a cheap valuation here. And then it has all of the aspects of such kind of software or internet companies, a gross margin of around 50%. So that's similar to, for instance, CloudFlare or Fastly. Well, they have a slightly higher gross margin, but still. But what I'm looking forward here is that their net loss is now actually narrowing. So they have only $1 million in net losses reported in the last quarter. So I think 2021 could actually be a breakthrough for Xunlei, where they actually turn around the story and become net profitable, and possibly even show an increase in revenues again. So also a growth in the revenues, but hopefully then also reflected in the earnings. So this is just one of those valuation drivers that I'm seeing on the horizon. Once they turn profitable and revenues grow again, this will be a huge boost to the stock. And also now with Bitcoin and crypto becoming hot topics again, obviously investors are looking out to who have blockchain attributes aligned with the stock, and possibly Xunlei hasn't been on the agenda of many investors yet. And then just think about it. In 2017, when we had the recent crypto hype, the stock was actually trading at $26 a share. And regarding blockchain technology, this is actually where Xunlei is coming from. It's one of the most used download managers and peer-to-peer software supporting eDonkey or BitTorrent. So that's where the company is coming from. And now they introduced a service called Blockchain as a Service. So BaaS, to the neo investors here listening, that will sound familiar, the name. But essentially it's a range of services from consulting, but also actual blockchain solutions that are built on their existing technology. And that is quite capable. It is compatible with Ethereum and also has a really high throughput. So it's very capable of handling many transactions. And on a website, you can see a couple of applications and case studies, for instance, in the medical industry, supply chain, electronic billing, vouchers in e-commerce, and so on, with actually companies using that already in China and beyond, actually also in Thailand. So this is the product regarding blockchain technology, and to be honest with you, I haven't done a thorough research on how good it is and how many people are using it and how satisfied they are and the prospects of that. So because this is still early due diligence right now, but I do see the potential for the application cases in various industries there, and I just think that this company is well positioned for actually executing on that. But as mentioned before, the company is not only about blockchain, but also about cloud services. And it's interesting here because lots of people are actually talking about Alibaba Cloud. But the issue to me is if you are investing in Alibaba, then also what you're investing in is their e-commerce business and everything else that they do. Whereas Xunlei actually is really focused on the cloud services. So if you are investing in them, then you are also just focusing on their cloud services. And I think they can actually have a quite good niche considering who their clients are, like Bilibili, iQIYI from Baidu and Xiaomi and so on, are all of the customers of the Xunlei cloud services. So these are big companies. So in case you, for instance, missed out on Bilibili stock or on Youku, another streaming kind of YouTube provider in China, then you possibly can still grow with Xunlei stock here, because they are actually providing the underlying services here. So even though it's not the biggest provider in China for that, but with the setup of both cloud services and blockchain technology, I think it's a really interesting player given the valuation and the market cap currently. And then what I also think will drive the share price is that they announced that they're going to buy back shares in 2021. And I also see more capital inflows also by institutions. I think we've seen news that Goldman Sachs was actually just increasing their position in the stock. Now, there are some risks aligned with this investment. So for instance, one of our Patreon community members here outlined that the management team in the past had some issues. The CEO was abandoned, but I did a little bit more of digging there, and they have now a new team, a new CEO, who actually was one of the co-founders of Xunlei, and later on he left the company and to found his own company called Zuiyou, and then he was supported by a cool venture capital fund called Lightspeed Ventures in China. So actually looking at this company that he created, that looks quite successful to me. It has really good app store ratings, and having this good venture partner on board is actually kind of reducing a little bit of my red flags towards the management of Xunlei there. So I think it looks like those management troubles are in the past and could now be actually resolved. And now with this new management team, hoping that they can actually manage this turnaround. So lots of the older founders are back on board, and also have now the support from Xiaomi and Lei Jun, who is a large stakeholder in the company. And actually also those new management team members have actually a big stake in the company, so a good incentive scheme there. Some other risks would be that, of course, once again, blockchain services would never take off again, so that it's yet again another hype, and just like 2017, it may just cool off at some point in time. But as I mentioned before, I'm really bullish on the prospects of a decentralized internet in general. And well, what also could happen is the cloud solutions are subject to regulations and fierce competition. Yes, it is a smaller company. Alibaba Cloud and also Tencent Cloud are the bigger players in China. But with those clients and those services that Xunlei offers, I think they could actually have a nice profitable niche there. And now how I am going to trade it? Well, actually the share price has quite risen dramatically, and I was just buying in last Friday at around $7 a share. It's now looking like the share price is up 10% in the pre-market. So actually today I am planning to double down on my investment and add it even further. I also bought some call options, both short-term as well as long-term. And in general, I think this could be just an interesting position there, a play that is not highly valued yet, with lots of growth ahead and possibly a turnaround story. So it's not one of my bigger investments here. It's more opportunistic, as I'm sharing today after just a couple of hours of due diligence. But the fundamentals are just looking good for me. So for me, it's worth taking the risk right now. So yeah, that's my initial research on this company and also how I entered this stock and my outlook forward. Please let me know down below in the comments what you personally think about the Chinese blockchain industry and also Xunlei as an investment. I'm definitely also covering more when I find out more about this company. First off, I'm possibly going to post it with my Patreon community, of course, but then I'm also planning some videos on blockchain in general, crypto investment, and also how China is playing a role in this entire ecosystem there. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.